Welcome to the Wise Owl Knits podcast. I'm Cheryl Beckridge, and I am so happy to have you here with me today. It's Easter Monday, hence the bunny ears, which I'll slip off now. Got a picture of my dog Barley with the same bunny ears, so I think they're humans, but they look pretty cute on dogs too. So there's Barley with his bunny ears. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm really thrilled that you're here with me. Today I am wearing one of my Wildflower tees. I just finished it the day before Easter and wore it to Mass yesterday. My husband said that I should call it the Easter candy sweater, not the Wildflower tee. But I think he meant it in a nice way, so I'll take that compliment. I got lots of comments on it yesterday at our Easter party, and was just happy to finish it in time. And the weather was perfect to wear a short sleeve sweater because we had forecast of rain off and on all day. We had all of our family coming over at about 4 o'clock for an egg hunt and dinner, and I really wanted it to be outside on our deck, and the forecast was just not looking great for that. It was going to be, 58 or 59 degrees with chances of rain off and on all day, like thunderstorms at 6 o'clock, so I could see us all outside bundled up in sweatshirts, and then it starts pouring rain. But it ended up being 71 degrees when I looked, and I think it may have gotten a little bit warmer than that, and the sun was shining brightly. We had a big egg hunt in the front yard, which was great. All the kids got loaded up on candy, and was just a marvelous day. One of my husband's aunts, who is living in a nursing care facility in the home that she was living in, so she was able to come. They had a wheelchair van bring her, and we got her in, and it was just so good to see her and have everybody together. And Purdue was playing in the Elite 8 yesterday. It started at 2 o'clock. 4 o'clock when everybody got here, it was in the second half of the game, and was just a really close game. We've got a lot of Purdue grads and just Purdue fans in the family, so it was a little tense there for a minute, but the Boilers pulled it off and are heading to the Final Four. So, Boiler up! Let's see what we have today. First of all, I'll tell you while I'm talking about the Wildflower, let me go ahead and talk about the knit along. That probably makes more sense than jumping into what I'm working on. The Wildflower knit along is going on right now. It's on Instagram and Facebook, but mostly in our Telegram group. So please post your pictures there. If you post on Facebook and Instagram, use the hashtag #KnitWildflower. But most of all, I want to emphasize that for you to be eligible to win the prizes, there is a Google form that you need to fill out, and it is several places. If you scroll to the top of the Telegram group, it is there. I will put it in the show notes. I think I'm going to email it out to everybody who's participating too. It's also in my Instagram profile, so if you go up there, there's a link right to the form. But the form just asks your name, your email address, and there's a place where you can upload a picture of your finished items. So if you can do that, that really helps me gather everything together and make sure that everybody is included in the list of people that we will draw for prizes from. Let me show you some of the prizes. They're not all here just yet. this cute bag from Delightful Works, and Susan Smith from Delightful Works is sending another bag. I've got this skein of yarn called Ballet Shoes from Mystery Mouse Yarns, and it is a fingering weight yarn. Lovely. This one I think is DK Superwash Merino, and it is called Swiss Family Robinson. I really like that one. It's green. Then I've got a sock set here, and the name of this one is Moss Flower. It's a 75% superwash, 25% nylon, and again, the name is Moss Flower, so it's this pretty yellow and blue and lavender, or not blue, green and lavender variegated for the main skein. That is gorgeous too. I like all of these. And then a mini skein set. And this one is not labeled as to what it is, so it may just be some minis that she had as leftovers and put all together, but a peach, a little bit darker peach, a lavender and a little bit darker lavender, and then this fuchsia. So a lovely mini skein set that I'm sure everybody would love to have. There will be more prizes too, so I will show more on my next podcast, which should be right before the knit along ends on April 16th. So this bucket bag by Susan, so cute. It's kind of oval shaped, and not really, it really is probably a rectangle, but the way it sits, it looks oval and has this nice center handle, and there is a snap closure too. So if you are taking this out and about with you, it's just a nice design to keep everything where it's supposed to be. And you could, if you're taking a walk and knitting, you can just slip that on your wrist and knit and walk and hopefully don't trip and fall down. She's got this bag on her website, or her Etsy site, so Delightful Works on Etsy, in different fabrics too, so if you want to go take a look at those, they are there. Mystery Mouse Yarns, I think it's Mystery Mouse Yarn Co. on Etsy, is where all of Holly's yarns are too, so please visit both of those and see all the great things that they have to offer. Now I will move on to what I'm working on. I had a Lenten promise to do 4 charity knits during Lent, and I got 2 done, and I showed those the last time. I'm almost done with a 3rd, which is this cute little V-neck boys baby sweater that will be donated to Birthline. This is a size 6 to 9 months, and I may modify this pattern somewhat so I can do a newborn size. So I've got the second sleeve knit, and I'm just in the middle of binding it off and sewing it on, and then I just have to add the button band and the buttons. So not technically done during Lent, but pretty close to done. The pattern for this, it's called the Cherub Aran Baby Bloomers Cardigan, and it's by the Cascade Yarns design team, so it is a free pattern on their site. Again, Cherub Aran Baby Blooms Cardigan, and theirs had some polka dots on it that I don't have. I just decided to leave those off. I used some Barocco, sorry for turning around, Barocco Comfort Knitting Worsted Weight is what I used, And the type of yarn, I mean, it's an all acrylic yarn and it's very soft and great for baby projects, but I didn't feel like it was going to work very good for color work where you're alternating colors in the same row. So I left the polka dots off, but I did do the stripes, and it looks a little collegiate. I kind of feel like I should put a little crest on the front. So anyway, it's a nice pattern, very quick knit, and I worked on it some at home and some at work when I had a little bit of downtime. So I got 3 of the 4, excuse me, 3 of the 4 items done that I wanted to make for charity during Lent. And you know, you just do the best that you can do. Wasn't quite there, but almost. And I'll whip up a hat real quick too to put with that. So that should be good for Birthline, that they get some boy stuff, because the little girl stuff is also cute, and it's just, I don't know, you look at it and you just want to make it, and I have to search a little bit harder to make things for little boys. And I don't want them to be left out in their little knitted items. The next thing that I'm working on is kind of as a result of the amount of leftovers that I have working on my circular sock machine making socks. You never use the whole skein, you always have a little bit of leftovers. And I have not ever made a mitered square blanket, but I thought, what a good place to use the leftovers. And you know, there's lots of these patterns out there, and most of them are free. I know Anna Knitter has her method that she's using, and I don't think mine is quite like hers, but pretty similar. And the one that I'm using is called Memory Blanket, and it's a knitting pattern by Georgie Nicholson. Memory Blanket, making a modular mitered square blanket. And she does say that this is no means an original idea, nor do I claim it to be. However, this is my approach for knitting a mitered square blanket seamlessly and modular. I am just finished my 7th square, and the next square will go here, and then a square here up in this corner will make 9. I think I'm going to do a square of 16, so 4 and 4. And, well, not 4 and 4, 4 and then 3 more. So if you count either way, it's 4, but the one in the corner you count both times. So that would be a square of 16. And then I think I will put a dark colored border around it, probably a black border on all of them. And just so that it doesn't get super big and I can take it with me places. Each square does not take very long to do, but it's a nice project to maybe take while you're doing a short drive or you're going to a restaurant. You can work on that pretty easily, and it's not too big and cumbersome that you can pull it out at a restaurant and do a little bit of knitting. And then I'll have to, once I put a border around it, then eventually I'll have to sew the different squares together. But I don't really mind sewing together, and I'm not sure exactly how I will do the border yet either, so I may look around and see how other people have done that before I decide exactly what I'm doing. And I can get a bunch of 16 square squares done and then decide how to put them all together. So it's not something that I have to decide right now. I was just going to show here, before I knit socks on my circular sock machine, I always put it on cones. So I have cones like this, which don't have a whole lot left, but that is about enough to make a mitered square. I haven't weighed how much yarn I need. I should have done that after I knit the very first square. Maybe I'll do that at the beginning of the next 16 block square. Not that I can look at this and tell how much it weighs, but I do have an idea of how much the cones weigh, so if I really want to go to a lot of trouble, I can figure all that out. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I wanted to say that I am going to alternate squares that are variegated in color with solids. So I'll have a diagonal of solids going this way and a diagonal of colors. Other than that, I think I'm going to just be pretty random on my colors, and I think it will come out fine in the end. I think it's going to be like a scrappy blanket, and the more colors the merrier. But I will do every other square in solids until maybe I run out of solids. I may change my mind on that later, but that's my plan right at the moment. I do have a couple of finished objects. One is the Wildflower tee. Again, this one is like my Easter candy version, maybe jelly bean version. That is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 5th Wildflower. And I'm thinking I might make another in some of the muted tones. I like some of the ones that I've seen on the knit along with a cream background and a light blue and a light brown. Just a very pretty vibe. Almost every Wildflower that I've seen on the knit along, and they're all very, very different, but they're all just gorgeous, and I really don't have any that I don't like. Even as I was knitting this one, and I think I said this at the beginning, these are such bright colors. I just don't have, not confidence, but I guess I don't have confidence that I'm going to like the finished product. I like all these colors and I think they look beautiful together, but it's something that is so bright it may not be something that I would wear. All the color work up here is done with mini skeins that were from Mystery Mouse Yarns in her Brown Bear collection. And then the aqua is a skein that was of Emma's yarn, and I've had that in my stash for a long time, but I just felt that it looked pretty nice with all the bright colors up in the top, so it's kind of a combo thing, and that's great. This is a pattern that is really good for using up leftovers and just putting some things together that you already have that will work well together. And even if you're not sure at the beginning, if you like them all in a combination, I think you're going to like it once you finish the sweater. It's just one that works well with a multiple of combinations of things. The next thing that I finished is in preparation for Shark Week 2025. This is my hammerhead. He doesn't have teeth, but he has a nice smile. This one I have preliminarily done the pattern writing on, but I haven't put it in a pretty package yet. This will be much easier to knit than my last year's Shark, which is called Sharky. It was knit in the round with intarsia in the round, and at some points was a little bit fiddly. This is not nearly as fiddly. So The top is all knit as one piece, the bottom is all knit as one piece, and then sew together, stuff, and knit your fins. So watch for that coming out before Shark Week of 2025. I just really do like his smile. I think that looks pretty good. I saw some other stuffed sharks that had smiles like that, so I took that idea and ran with it. I do have some acquisitions, some things that I bought. I bought several things from Knitting McPurley, one of which was I decided to go to her next retreat, which is in January of 2025 in Grapevine, Texas. So if you're going to the next Knitting McPurley retreat, I will be there. I'm pretty sure that I will vend again this year like I did last year, so I'll take samples of my sweaters so people can try them on or look at them in person, and then I will sell patterns, but I probably won't have them printed out. I most likely, if you buy it, then I'll just email you a copy of the pattern right then, so you'll get it electronically. Also from Knitting McPurley, I bought her latest hand balm, which is called Sanctum, and it smells like the chrism oil that they use at church during baptisms and confirmation. It's a lovely smell. The smell of babies right after they're baptized. I think I wanted the bigger tin, but it was sold out. Then I tried to buy 2 of these, and it would only let me put 1 in my cart, so I may have gotten the last one. It smells great, and she did say on her last podcast that she will do this scent again, probably at Christmas of this year, and again Easter next year. So, Sanctum, her hand balms are really great. You know, they don't get your hands greasy, so you can use them, rub it on, and your hands feel lovely, and you can start knitting right away. I also bought some yarn from Knitting McPurley, and what I got was some Dubrovnik DK. And I'm going to do something color work with these 2. They're both dark in value, but the Fathom will be the background color and Beryl will be the contrast color. So it will just be a 2-color DK weight sweater. I'm not sure beyond that what that is going to be. I also got some more sock yarn, and I ordered this from Love Crafts. This is some more Westminster Spinners yarn. Not Westminster, West Yorkshire Spinners. I always get their name wrong. West Yorkshire Spinners. So got some variegated self-striping and self-patterning colors. And then I also got some solids. I got a darker rust and an orange that's a little bit lighter than this, and a red, and of course a green. So I will be cranking out some more socks with some of those. I'm gonna just insert a picture. I've been making socks for friends, and if you want to see any of those videos, I did start a new channel that's called Owl Knits CSM. I did have those videos on this channel, but I decided to separate them off onto their own channel, mostly because it was less confusing for me. And, you know, I'm the one who has to deal with them all the time, so that it might not have been the smartest thing to do as far as getting followers, because I get followers a lot faster on that CSM channel than I do here. But it just was easier for me keeping track of everything to do it that way, rather than, I could have put them in different playlists on my regular channel, but I decided to just do a whole separate channel for that. So if you want to check that out, that's Owl Knits CSM on YouTube, and that is linked in the show notes, and then I also had that up at the beginning of the video, and it's up again at the end of the video. So, and there are links to that on my website too. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to insert a picture of some of the socks that I made for friends. One of the guys that I made them for, I had made him 2 different pairs, so he put on a pair of each and sent me a text with the picture. So I've got a couple of pairs finished for other friends. This one is all one colorway. This pair is a fun pair where I just used a bunch of leftovers, and the guy that I made this pair for, he likes to wear crazy socks, so I thought he was the perfect person to use up some ends. And I still didn't use them up all the way, so I've got some leftovers from all of these that will go in the mitered square blanket. This one I just made, and I've only got one sock and it's not sewn up at the end, so got to make its partner yet. Okay, well, the next thing I wanted to talk about was something that I saw on Instagram, and I kind of wondered what you guys think. It kind of sounds like a good idea, but it's fairly expensive for what it is, and I think there are easier ways to accomplish the same thing. There is a product, and it is essentially a pillow that goes around the middle of your body, so when you're sitting down, you can rest your elbows on it. And originally it was made for gamers, so they could hold their control up here and not be looking down and hunching over. But now it's being advertised to knitters and crocheters, and it is, I think, $75 for this pillow that goes around your body. It has a buckle on the back, so it's, you know, got some webbing, and then a buckle on the back so you can increase the length, or just like a belt, increase the length or shorten the length depending on what you need. I guess you could get up and go to the bathroom and you don't have to remove your pillow. Seems like it would be okay to, if you're sitting there, just remove your pillow, get up and go do what you need to do and come back. I am just wondering what you guys think of this. My thoughts are that anything that helps us get better posture and not be so hunched over is a good thing. It's something that I try to really be cognizant of, just because I see a lot of people that as they age get more and more hunched over, and those are people that are, you know, 15 or 20 years older than me. But for us that have been living with technology longer and been looking down at our phones for longer, or for our kids who, like my kids are close to 30, so they didn't have that their whole life, but since they've been teenagers, they've had devices and they've been looking down at them, and they played video games while they were teenagers too, so there's that. So anything that can keep you sitting upright, I think, is a really good thing. We have to consider that with everything that we do, and just consider other things that help us stay healthy so that we can do the things that we like to do. Exercising, stretches of your hands and fingers to keep everything working right while we knit and crochet is a good thing. So anyway, give me your opinion on these pillows and tell me what you think. I think it would be easy to get maybe a king size pillow at the store and just put that on your lap, and maybe it's not firm enough, I don't know. I'm tempted to buy one, but I'm like, $75 just to try something out. I don't know if any of you have tried that. Let me know if maybe a family member has one for gaming. Give it a try knitting or crocheting and let me know what you think. There's another version of it that looked almost more like a padded frame that sat over your lap while you're knitting, but has pieces that come out on the side so that you can rest your elbows on, and perhaps you could put your plate on there too while you're snacking while you're gaming or knitting or crocheting. Anyway, I thought it was kind of a brilliant idea and a nice way to market to a different group that kind of has the same problem as the group that you were originally marketing to. Sorry, I needed a bit of my coffee. I don't normally show my mug because it's not looking super pretty, but this is just a Contigo cup that keeps my coffee warm for a long time because I drink it pretty slowly. But I put all the stickers from Shark Week last year on it, and the actual paint on the cup is starting to peel off from being put in the dishwasher too often. But you can see here around the Murder Knits sticker, the sticker's staying on, the paint is coming off, so I may end up with a silver cup with the round stickers on it. We'll see what happens. I didn't have super high hopes for putting stickers on the cup in the first place because I do put my cups in the dishwasher. Probably better off to hand wash them, but who has time for that? So that's my cup saga. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was something else that I saw on Knitting McPurley, not her latest show that was on Easter, or the day before Easter, but the week before that, she talked about winding yarn. Now, I worked in a yarn store for 5 years. I wound a ton of yarn while I worked there. I mean, that was one of our services, and I think probably most local yarn stores will wind yarn for people if they need it wound. Some people have a winder at home and prefer to take it home and wind it when they're ready to use it. But there are a lot of people that we wound yarn for. Many of the yarns wound very easily and were tied up in a manner that really made sense, and I will have to give kudos to Cascade Yarns for having yarn that was wound extremely straight. The way they tied the knot, where you have both of the ends of the yarn, was a simple slip knot, so you could pull it out very easily. You didn't have to cut anything, and you could wind that yarn, and it almost always was flawless. another yarn, and this is a yarn that was one of my favorites and still is one of my favorites. But you just never knew if you were going to get a skein a problem skein or not. And probably the longer it had sat around, the more it kind of felted together. That yarn is Malabrigo. So I've got a skein here, and I'm going to try it on camera to see if Devon's technique will work on this. And what Devon said to do was to put the yarn in your hands and snap it. And the theory of this is it straightens out all the fibers. And she said 10 to 12 times. So I'm going to do this a little more than that, just because I've had bad experiences with winding Malabrigo. Love to knit with it. Always a little bit afraid to wind it. So I've got that wound, and I'm going to pause the video for just a second and bring my winder over here and see if this works for us. My winder is a squirrel cage winder, and I'm going to point the camera down so you can see it a little better. It's got a barrel at the bottom and a barrel at the top, and you wind the yarn around that, and at the very top I've got a Nancy's Knit Knack winder on, and it's really a great winder. It's very smooth and you can pack a lot of yarn on it. Sorry for the background. My blanket here is a little bit loud, and this is my chair that I use for working on the computer and podcasting. I'm gonna just do this a few more times, and then I'm gonna put this on my Swift. All of the yarn is going the right direction. I need to move my bottom barrel up just a bit to get this on. I'm going to cut the wraps, and this first wrap is not one that is the beginning or the end of the yarn. It's just a piece of yarn wrapped around. And I'm just moving the barrels so this comes up so that I don't have to bend over. This one may be attached to a yarn end. It is. So this is one end. It had just a knot in it. But where is the other end? Okay. Sorry that that's taking a little while. Okay. We'll see how this works. So far so good. A nice smooth wind. Have you guys tried this snapping technique? I can't believe for the 5 years that I worked in a yarn store, I never saw anybody do that. I never saw anybody say anything about that. Sometimes, I mean, maybe it was happening and I was just clueless about it, but I did not know that was a thing. And I'm really happy to learn that little tip. And I must say, you know, it could have been that this skein would have wound flawlessly anyway. But chances are, for Malabrigo that I've had probably 15 years, it wouldn't have been a smooth wind. So I'm pretty happy to have learned this little technique. Thank you so much, Devon, for sharing that, because I just did not know that it was a thing. Yeah, I think, unless we have a little snafu at the end, I think this is going very well, and I'm probably about halfway there right now. I normally like winding yarn, unless I have to do a whole bunch of it at once. I also weirdly like when something does get really tangled up. I weirdly like untangling it. Something just very satisfying about it, even though it's a colossal, not waste of time, but it takes an inordinate amount of time to unwind some of the, or undo some of the tangles that you get in some skeins of yarn. Especially if it's in, say, a lace weight. It can be hours in the making, or hours in the straightening out, which shouldn't be something that happens at all. We are almost to the end. No tangles, nothing sticking together. And I have a lovely cake of green Malabrigo. Now I need to do something with that. I can see a hat. This is kind of, I didn't look at the label, but it's a chunkier yarn. They're calling it worsted weight, but it's a heavy worsted weight. I would more consider this an Aran weight. I'm gonna need to make a hat or a cowl. It's ready to go. Thank you for indulging me on my little yarn winding adventure. It all worked so well, and as I said, I don't know how I never heard anything about that before. Perhaps I wasn't paying attention. That could very well be the case. Do appreciate you watching me. I'm almost at 1 year of doing the podcast, and I don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm just under 500, so if I can get 500 subscribers by my podiversary, my 1 year podiversary, I would be really just thrilled, and that will give me some motivation to keep going on, because I've kind of thought, not that many people are watching, maybe it's not worth doing, but I do enjoy doing it, and I love the community that develops from this. So maybe share with your friends or pass it on to other people, knitters that you know, but I need to get a few more subscribers to keep me motivated, and I would love to have that by the time I turn 1 year old. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.